Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine.
So Acapella,
Yeah.
your stage name, Acapella. How did you come about it, and why did you settle for that name, Acapella?
Okay, I started out as a singer, as an acapella singer, as a young boy. I used to belong to an acapella group, where we sing with our natural voices. We were five, At the time, the name of our group was Exalters of Righteousness Acapella Band. But what used to happen those days was I used to be a funny guy, and so when you invite us for your concerts, before we sing, before we perform, I'll tell a joke or two, and I was the smallest in size, and so people started mistaking me for the acapella, Exalters of Righteousness Acapella Band. So every time you introduce us, I'm always the first to come out, and then a friend of mine, his name is Francis. One day, those days I was going for jam class. He came for one concert we went to perform, and as soon as I was walking, he just shouted, "Oh, no, I don't know this guy. This guy in acapella. Now be acapella." He was trying to say this guy sings acapella, and he took over my name. I was fighting it those days. I tried to fight it. I don't know. I didn't want to be called acapella, but you know how it is those days. He eventually took over.
Now your career kind of exploded, after you won the AY's open mic challenge or competition.
Yeah.
How did you come about taking part in that competition?
Okay, for me at the time, I used to live in Iba housing estate at the time. I met Didon. I'm sure not a lot of people will know Didon, the stand-up comedian. But I'm sure you know Didon, So I met Didon at the time. He was in Lasso. I used to watch him on Night of 1,000 Laugh. Didon, I'm sure a lot of people know his jokes, but they actually don't know his theory. He was the original owner of that joke where they say people dance to missed calls. He danced to 12 missed calls. I met him that time. He was in Lasso. So I told him I'm a comedian. I used to run a video club at the time, way back, way back 2002, 2003, So, and then he was very busy. He was schooling in Lasso. He was going to do shows. I was just doing stuff very little around the community at the time, So around 2007, he came to me and said, "But I don't just say you good well for this area. Everybody tell me say you funny well. Like go one competition where they." At the time, I think the likes of Sheyi Law, Emeka Smith, Elenu had already won. I think it was a monthly competition at the time. So while he told me, I said, "No, well, leave Nigeria, I think they don't already choose their winner. Nobody see the person go buy from now. They don't know their winner. Can't waste my time." So I didn't want to go. Then, at the time, the guy that was reigning musically was Spider-Man. I know you remember Spider-Man that time. He was hot, Spider-Man. So Spider-Man said, "They don't know tell you about one competition." Because he actually watched me anchor a concert. He was like, "Oh, but you dey wait for this area, you go to that competition." I said, "But no, if you go, they don't choose their winner." So Spider-Man encouraged me and said, "It's just 3,000 naira from, risk it. If you work, fine. If you no work, fine." And that was how I got to know about the competition, and then I went for it. So I told Didon at the time. Didon was doubting because he had never watched me. So I told him if I go for that competition more than once, because I heard at the time if you don't win, you can come again. If you don't win, you can come again. I told him I'm going to go once because I had watched other guys who had won already. I'm like, these guys don't win. He said yes. Then I said I can't go for more than once. If I don't win once, anything I tell you don't believe. I went once and I won it. I became the second person to win it once after the first winner.
So in what way would you say that winning that competition has changed your life and your career?
Oh yeah, it became the stepping stone for me because at the time I was just doing comedy. I didn't know there was a career in it. I didn't want to make a career out of it. I was a singer after all, I was running a video club. I was doing music. I didn't want to make a career out of comedy. It was just at the time I was very young. I was a teenager. I was just catching fun, putting my hands here and there, anything to catch fun. But after I won the competition, it was just everything just started. Started shaping accordingly. I just sit in my house and then Sheila will call me up and say, "Oh, boy, since when you win this thing, we know they see you." I'm like, "I don't win." And I'll tell you one truth. When I went for the competition, we were told that you were going to win 50,000 naira. I went for the competition not because I wanted to build a career. I went because I wanted to win 50,000. I had a video club, so I'm like, if I put 50,000 into my video club, everywhere go shut down. You know, those days. So I won the competition, and then I went back to doing my normal things. You know, at intervals, Emeka Smith will call me, Sheila will call me, Elena will call me. I will know the CEO where you did. At the time I was staying in Iba, they were in Sule. You know, then at intervals when there are big gigs, AY himself will call to say people asked him to bring young comedians. And you know, that was how I started moving around. And so one day, I think in 2007 or 8 precisely, I went for an event. You know, when Guinness was doing the Guinness Black, one Guinness Black event, so Sheila was the host. He was doing a tour with Guinness, so he called me. As we finished the tour, on our way out, Sheila opened an ML, ML Benz. I said, boy, now this joke you crack by this motor. He said yes. I said no. Because at the time, when I first knew him, he was using one Honda, like the Honda Legend. You know, but within the short time, within the space of 6 to 7 months, he was driving an ML. I'm like, now this joke where all of us, they crack, you take by this motor. He said yes. I said, let me say this in the walk. And you know, that was the stepping stone for me. That was how I started coming close to every other person who was at the industry at the time, you know, and it became a stepping stone for me.